Life is a journey, not a destination. Welcome to Broken to be Blessed Network, where strong, bold, powerful men will share their journey of inspiration and motivation. Life is meant to be lived, but it depends on one's own experiences that will shape their own path. For this reason, they will leave with you their own strategies used to overcome life's challenges. I'm your host, Samantha McNeil. I have with me three awesome, handsome gentlemen, but guess what? They're all taken. I'm going to let you just go ahead and tell us a little about yourself. I'm going to start with Cedric.
I'm happily married to Mrs. Antonia Tadisha Janelle Burke Leslie, and we have been married for 3 years, 3 going on 4. I am a teacher by profession, and I am Jamaican born through and through. I eat, sleep, breathe Jamaican, love Jamaican, everything. All right, I think that is.
Cedric, for telling us a little about yourself. This time we're going to have Dane sharing with us. Go ahead, Dane, and tell us a little about yourself.
I'm Dane Wright. I've been married for 7 years. We have celebrated our 7th year anniversary. That's on December the 7th. And my wife, she is Michelle Barrett Wright. And I heard Cedric give his title as a teacher. And, I'm happily married also to a teacher. She's a guidance counselor. Myself, I'm a sales manager at Centerfield. And yeah, that's just the bits of pieces of me, all right?
Okay, thank you so much, Dane. Orando, go ahead and tell us a little about yourself.
Yes, my name is Orando Williams. I'm married to the Alicia Davis Williams. She's a social worker by profession. I am a minister of religion and a young entrepreneur.
Gentlemen, we are going to get right into it. I want you, the first question I'm going to ask you, at what age, I think you somewhat said it already, but at what age did you get married? And tell us how many years so the audience can know. Go ahead again. Cedric.
I got married at age 23. And we have been married for 3 years and 5 months.
All right, counting up.
I was counting.
All right, Cedric, thank you. Go ahead, Dane, and tell us at what age and how many years.
All right, so I was the age I got married was oh, my wife just whispered and tell me 23. Yeah. Yeah, and every man there's a strong woman, eh? Yes. So I got married when I was 23-year-old. All right.
Okay. All right, yeah. Orando.
I was just trying to figure that out, and it's not long. I got married happily when I was 21, and it's 6 months now, so I'm on my way.
I ask this question is because there is a theory out there that oftentimes says that, oh, why did you get so married so young? And oh, these 2 little children and all these things. And people always have all of these things to say. So we want to highlight the years that, as we have done with the ladies, and let persons know that, yeah, people do get married young and it's going well. So, gentlemen, do you think that there's a right age for marriage? And if so, why? Go ahead, Cedric.
So I do agree with you that persons can be very discouraging when it comes to, marrying at an early in quotation, early or young age rather. Persons discouraged me to say, you know, don't get married when you're getting married at this age. It's too early. You have a whole life ahead of you. I I don't take very well to that, especially as a child of God, because I mean, the Bible says that it's better to marry than to burn. And I believe that if you find that person who the Lord has, you know, made right for you, or I mean, not even, be careful with my words. Somebody who, you know, the Lord has said okay to, you know, why not go ahead with it, grow together? What kind of life ahead of you? You're going to experience life together. That's my take on that.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead, Dane, and tell us if you think that there is a right age for persons to get married or not.
All right, pretty much, yeah. Cedric and myself, we share the same sentiment. All right, so pretty much, I don't believe that there is a, you know, everybody know the age of consent, right? And firstly, married for the right reason, right? And once you meet that person, and you know you court that person, and you start to be around that person more, then and there you can know whether or not say, yeah, you know, say she the right person. And then at whatsoever age, because a lot of my friends, they are older than myself, right? And I started to court my wife like 2 years before we got married. So that's like 21-year-old. And everyone is saying, Dean, you don't have no money, you don't have no house, you don't have nothing yet. Why are you gonna get married? Right? But when you meet through love, and you know that's true love, and you know you find that partner who you talk to on a day-to-day basis, someone who pretty much knows the inside out, someone who you can work with and build together. So there's no age limit. Once it's love, go for it and work as a team and start life.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Dane. Go ahead, Orando, and tell us your
Well,
side to the story. Do you think that there's a right age?
I do agree with my fellow panelists. I agree wholeheartedly. I when I've taught a few persons, and even myself, that marriage has to do more about maturity, more about whether or not you deem yourself fit to be married. So it's really not, for me, it's not age attachment, but it's more about, as I said before, maturity.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. So I guess all the gentlemen here, they got married young, but I still want to know, were you worried that you were ever going to find your your right? I guess Mr. Right is the only one who still can say that. Oh, my Mrs. Right.
Yeah,
So were you
man.
worried about finding your pick? Cedric, let me hear.
Um, that's actually a very, very good question. I believe that there's a whole story that I can't go through tonight because I guess we have a time limit. But I think I struggled in the earlier part of my life with being rejected. Um, I did, as a result, become very concerned about whether or not I was good enough for love. Whether I was handsome enough, whether I was, you know, smart enough, whether I was mature enough. So that became a concern for me in my early life as a young man. And so I think I did get concerned about whether or not, you know, I will get married, or, you know, whether somebody, you know, a woman will like me or what. But then I had some experiences that the Lord, you know, just brought me through, and I learned self-acceptance. I learned a number of other things that I really needed to learn before getting into marriage. Um, and I, as a result, did not, or was not so much concerned about all of, you know, finding wife and all of those things. I just started focusing on serving the Lord. And I asked the Lord to just send the right woman. And I believe that the Lord did that. So yes, it was an issue initially, but I got over the issues that I was experiencing.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Dane, and tell us, were you worried finding your Mrs. Right?
All right, I'm gonna be real honest, right?
Yes.
Probably it's because the way I brought up, you know, because my parents wasn't married, my grandparents wasn't married, aunts and uncles a lot. So when it comes down to being married in my family, it's very very limited. So there was not a perfect example out there that I can look at and say, hey, yeah, because growing up, I didn't see myself getting married. I wasn't focusing on just getting married. But I remember, you know, I started out my Christian life in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Then I went over to the Open Bible Church, and then I have a mentor there, Reverend Glendon Powell. Right? He started giving me the fundamental stuff regarding the whole marriage concept and all of those stuff, And to be honest, I wasn't per se searching for a woman to marry. I was actually more focusing on myself. But God sent a beautiful lady at church. And yes, once I met her, the next I was like thinking of that. Because going to church and being so active in church, you can't doing stuff and so after I meet my wife, yeah, I was actually looking in that direction of getting married.
All right. Thank you so much. And then that moves me to my next question. How did you know that this young lady was the one out of all the one? Go ahead, Cedric.
I think you need to shift up the order. But my wife just looked over at me. She's listening. So I think she's very interested in the response here. She got in the room now. All right. So how did I know that Antonia was the one? All right. So this was a whole experience, and I believe that you're gonna ask this sometime soon. But this was a whole experience that I met my beautiful wife. At the time I couldn't even see her face much because we were on a bus heading to St. Anne, where our church's campsite is. And the experience that I had at the camp that weekend, and just to drop it in, I really wasn't going to look woman as, I guess a lot of church brothers, that is the whole mindset of camp and retreat, that we go to retreats with. I was really going to, have an experience with the Lord. So I found that, over the week, I actually got sick. I got sick. And I tell you, this story is very funny because I ended up seeing a girl that I liked, and in the first instance, she wasn't my wife, my current wife. All right. And so I think the Lord just redirected my path because that girl, for one, was not interested in me. And I got very sick towards the end of the camp. And I tell you, my wife, oh my God, she checked up on me. She sat beside me on the bus all the way back to Kingston. We're going back to our campuses in Kingston. And she sat beside me. She just ensured that I was okay for the entire time. After, I tell you, this was the worst kind of flu I could get. I don't even think COVID-19 flu, which I have not had that. But I don't think this COVID-19 or these COVID-19 symptoms can compare to what I felt at that time. I can remember leaving my room on campus and going to the bathroom the night after, the same night, and I almost fainted. That's how bad it was. And throughout the entire process, this beautiful soul was just checking up on me, No nasty messages, none of those things. You know, it was just a genuine friendship. And I think that's where it started. I knew from the friendship, we had a friendship after that. I knew from the friendship that, you know, with these kind of attributes and values that I saw in her, that she was definitely the one for me. So that's my response.
Oh, so sweet. I tell you. Okay, Dane.
Kenny Rogers sing this perfect song that I even sing for my wife already. I can't help smiling when I look at you. Got me going crazy. That's all I can do. So I remember clearly I was actually doing praise and worship at night, because at church we had a week of crusade, and I saw 3 young ladies walk in, right? And my eyes just flicker on that particular one. And you know, each night I'm just always looking forward to see her. I didn't say anything to her, I just want to see her, that's all, right? And there was, you know, I believe in life when the right person walk in your path, you know, it will touch something within, and you will know that, say, hey, there's something special about that person. So as I mentioned to the question before, right, my mind was kind of off marriage. I didn't know about marriage, but after all of that, you know, meeting her, because this is a real program. We can talk the things, right?
Yes, yes, I want you to be real.
We can talk the things,
Yes,
all right.
you want it to be real.
She was not the first one, right? Regarding to courting and all of that, but there was just something extra special about her. She touched somewhere special within. So definitely, by talking to her, I know that yes, this one is the right one, and I haven't looked back. And to God be the glory. I'm happily married today.
Great things he has done. Awesome. So how long did you court for, Dane, before you got married?
Before we started courted for 2 years.
Okay.
And we got married in 2013.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Orando, go ahead and tell me how you knew that Mrs. Williams was the right one.
Okay, all right. So let me first start by saying that both of us, we went to the same tertiary institution. I didn't realize, I never saw her at school before. So one day I was asked to speak at a men's convention at our church, and we were introduced by the pastor. I've never seen this lady before. But as my brother said, my mind wasn't there. My mind was to build a career, you know, buy a house, drive a car, you know, that is the requirement for being fit for marriage. Back then, that's what I knew back then. That's what I was taught. But, you know, after seeing her, I realized that I kept seeing her every day now. And I'm like, how didn't I not see this girl? Why she's now walking in my path. It seems as if she's following me. That's how it seems, you know. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing her. You know, we started talking, we developed a friendship, we started going really close, and I realized, you know, and I can, as my brother said earlier, this is a place where we can express some stuff. I remember one scenario, one case in particular, when I was talking to her as a friend, and when I was going to school, I never had any food for quite a good while, and I said to her, you know, I have to go and do some stuff so I can get some food. And she said, really? And I said, all right. She said, oh. I said, yeah. So she went home and she called me the next day. On the road. I don't remember where I met her, but she said, meet me somewhere. and she gave me the money, and I was torn apart, you know. I was like, no man, why is this happening? And I was blown away by that. And then after that, I got sick, you know, the pain intensified. And I remember on a few Sundays, when the pain was rocking me, and I called her and I told her about it, and she didn't even go to church, you know. She was there at that point. I thought that was the end of my journey, you know, and I was questioning God, why would you bring me to the seminary? I've been studying for a very long time, and this is the way I'm going to go. And that was a journey. She was there right throughout. And I had to say to myself, how can I make a precious soul like this pass me? I couldn't.
Oh, wow. So how long did you court for, Orando?
We courted for 3 years because of my financial point of view. I never. If I had money long ago, let me just clarify that. If I had money long ago, it would have been from the first year.
Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Cedric, how long did you court for?
We courted for 5 years.
Oh, okay. Circle at times I've heard and I've seen it too personally, where in terms of premarital counseling, we don't see, especially as I said, in church circle. For some, it doesn't happen any at all. For some, it happens a little. I'm now posing the question to you. What is your view on premarital counseling, and if you yourself have benefited from premarital counseling? Go ahead, Orando.
Wow, I didn't know that the table would turn so fast. But yes, I have been conducting premarital counseling for a while because I've been the one to do most of the premarital counseling for my church. So yes, premarital counseling is something that I'm big on. Premarital counseling is something that I love and I'm passionate about it. And premarital counseling for me, when I was getting married, I knew the pastor that I was going to speak with. And bear in mind, it doesn't have to be a pastor, but I knew the pastor that I was going to speak with. And that killed me, man. That was that was out there killing, because I knew him, and I knew that my wife would be open to him, and I knew that there's some things that I was slacking up on. So I knew what that was going to be, you know. And that's one of the things. That's pastoral counseling. Kind of steer you in the right direction, kind of pull your socks up a bit, kind of grip the belt a bit, you know. And I benefited from premarital counseling. Even this afternoon, my wife and myself, we went to the pastor's house, we were talking. And even now, my wife and myself, we speak of the counseling sessions every day, you know. It has really, really, really benefited us in a real way.
Okay, awesome. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, man. Premarital counseling. It's I agree with it, and I had 6 sessions of it before we pretty much get married, because it pretty much give you the what to expect, or what to be done, or what not to be done in a marriage when you're married, right? Example, one of the perfect example that my pastor shared with us is that just starting out, right, regarding finances and all of that, right, it's gonna be a bit hectic, right? But when you reach that level where you believe that your finances is okay, once, do not hide your money from each other. Always be open up, with each other. Babe, this is what I get from my pay. Babes, that's what, you know. So it actually allows us to work as a team, right? Also, oh, my wife don't kill me for this. All right. Also, one of the session, he pretty much pinpoint sex as the topic, right? And how to please my wife, things to do, where to touch, and all those kind of stuff. So it kind of give you a heads up in all the alleys of what to do. And so I believe that yes, persons who do not do it should actually look into it and start doing it, because it really helps. It really helps. Whether the earlier part of your marriage or the latter part or in the middle, it really helps. So I agree with it 100%.
Thank you so much, Dane. I tell you, it is, in fact, I tell you, it's happening right here. So if you are watching and you don't subscribe as yet, please do so. Go ahead, Cedric, and tell us
right,
what's
so
your view.
I agree with the gentlemen, both Brother Williams and Brother Wright, that premarital counseling is important. I believe that it's a very necessary activity because it kind of opens up your, it gives you a greater understanding of marriage, what to expect. So we had to do 8 sessions. Antonia's church, which we were attending just before getting married, they have a very, very thriving marriage ministry. So even before we were doing premarital counseling, we're a part of a group of young people in the church who were in relationships, because the church recognizes that young people are in relationships and they need to be mentored by older people. And pastor himself, who is, I think his PhD is in counseling. So it's very good training that is available in the church, and let me just big them up. It's 3B Escarpment Road. Very good marriage ministry. We're a part of the group before we got married. Sorry, before we started doing premarital counseling. And then when we got engaged, we had to do premarital counseling sessions. And these sessions would have been discussing communication. We would have had to do a budget. There are a number of other things that we discussed, like what to expect from each of our families. Even though we had known our families, we kind of did a more in-depth study of family. And so I believe that premarital counseling kind of gives you that cushion to marriage, so that you don't go in expecting something that really doesn't exist. And when I think back at, I just want to give a little application. So when we just got married, I had an issue with how my wife decided to light the stove. We had a gas stove. And I bought a lighter, and I felt like it was good enough. And shortly after, she would have let me know that she needs to use the matches to light the stove because she feels more comfortable with it. Trust me, I made a big deal out of it, because I'm like, why you can't use the lighter? Like, why different? I mean, it's one lighter that would have to buy, as opposed to having this whole heap of box of matches. And I just found out that, you know what? It will perhaps never change. She will always need our boxes of matches if we're going to have a gas stove. And so, as I said, it was an issue for me initially, but I think when I think back at, the counseling and how it taught us how to communicate through things like those, it has really helped. And some of those issues that we had in the initial stages, we don't have those problems. Working on the bigger stuff now. So premarital counseling is important. And I would just want to add to it that, if there's a case where there are unresolved issues, even after marriage, I strongly believe in post-marital or marital, what you call that? Would it be, what you call those? Marriage counseling. Marriage counseling sessions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so those are my 2 cents.
Yes, really awesome and true and profound, I tell you. And viewers, if you have missed the ladies' conversation, please go over and look for it. It's there. The ladies share. And in that, I think I shared too that where I'm from, and I think there was another young lady that was there, that we didn't see much of premarital counseling. And we would have known a whole lot of persons who would not have benefited from premarital counseling. And every time I have to say to myself, my God, I try my best to use what I know as a counselor myself, because there's this saying that says, you know, the myth out there that a builder never live in a house, and a good house, and a hairdresser never wear a good hairstyle, and these things. So for me, I've always thought about it, and I consciously try to use what I know to help myself, because as I have mentioned before, where I'm from, we don't see a lot of premarital counseling happening, and even marriage counseling. And I think Orando mentioned that there are times when I think he maybe benefited from it in a positive way, where you know the pastor who is doing, and a lot of time the counseling is left to the pastor, which sometimes not all are equipped in counseling to do the counseling sessions. Sometimes too, when the situation is brought, even during the marriage, there are biases where you realize that they're biased. The person who is doing should be doing the counseling is on one side and on one party side, and then it just allow things to become worse, because it can't be like that. It can't be a bias thing. So you have heard it tonight. The gentlemen, they say that they did benefited from it, and they do believe that it is important. Even when you are married, you still need to get that sort of help. And now we are moving to the next question. I want to know what the transition phase was like for the males. You know, the ladies like to and cry and all of these things, and I didn't know I have to wash, and I didn't know I have to cook, and I didn't know the sex was gonna be involved, and I didn't know he was gonna want to be in. So I wanted so much and so bad, and all of these things. So now I want to hear what the men have to say, and I'm gonna start with Dane. Go ahead and tell me what your transition phase was like. You were single, you're young, you're living by yourself, you were caring for yourself, and now you're married and you're Mr. Right, and now you have to be husband, man, and all of these things. Tell me what your transition was like.
All right, I'm gonna be real honest, right? Definitely, I was, I stated before that I was courting for 2 years. So I thought I was so comfortable with my wife. I thought I was and I know my wife to that level where we could live together now, and we're good. But going to the hotel after the wedding, and then move to our house, after everything, I'm gonna be real, guys, real.
Yes, I wanted to be real.
Yeah, man, it feel in the earlier stage of it, it feel as if I was still with a stranger in the house, because I was living with my parents, my siblings are there and everything. I know I'm with a lady, and I'm now a man. I'm now responsible. I know I have things that I have to deal with and sort out. So the transition was a tedious one. It was a rocky road one, a nerve-wracking one that was, it was not an easy one, to be honest. But after a while, you start get so used to, waking up beside this person, coming home from work, going home to this person, and all of that. So the transition was a kind of hard one, but it pays off. It pays off. Good luck.
Okay. And we know how it is with, I guess all of us here are church people, and I'm going to push it a little bit more because I want to get you out. We know how it is with church people. You have to keep it formal, very formal, until you get married. So hence, when church people get married, it's like you're after the courtship and the wedding, that's the time that you're really going to get to know this person. Because you don't live with each other. I don't for some church, especially maybe in the rural areas, holding hands and kissing and those things, not even hold hands. You have to stay far and greet sister. Even though she's gonna be a wife, you have to stay far and greet.
Church
So
hug.
yes, and church hug
That,
away
that's
into chop
Michelle.
the bottom.
Michelle, that man. That's Michelle.
Kill her with church hug. So yes, so when you actually get married and in the space now, it's like you have to be coaching yourself and coaching especially the wife to really get emotional with you and to get compatible and to get feel welcome and warm and settled. Not true, Dane? Oh yes, I know how it is. All right, Cedric, go ahead and tell me what your transition phase was like.
All right, so transitions for anybody can be hard, especially when it's for the Christian in the context of marriage. We don't we not live with each other before. So Anthony and I would have been courting for 5 years before we got married, and at no point were we living together in those 5 years. I would have been a student in Kingston at Michael. And of course, I would have gone out on dates, met her family, all of that. Love their family from those times. And I was thinking that marriage, as it is painted to be that wonderful honeymoon forever thing. Transitions are hard, and them say, see me, I can live with me are two different things.
All right, now you're talking.
They say, see me, I can live with me are two different things. I started to find out things about myself after I got married. I think when you have another person to deal with, you find out that, you're not a nice person as much as you thought you were. As well as, you start to see some things in your spouse that you perhaps never saw before because you're now sharing a space. You're sleeping together in the same bed. You're cooking for each other. You're eating from the same pot. And you used to two different kind of cooking. You have two different kinds of taste and all of that. So transitions are hard. And I believe that the whole process of two becoming one is, it's a very expensive thought. It's a very expensive thing. And so transitions take time. And so we have gotten used to each other, in terms of what we eat, how we conduct ourselves while we're in each other's space. I'm a very loud person. I love make noise. I've had to tone down a whole heap since I got married. Loud right now. My wife is a very quiet person. She doesn't love, matter of fact, too much noise make her head hurt her. So I've been having, I've had to adjust a lot of things about myself. Not necessarily to say that I'm changing, she's changing me or what. But just to make each other happy, we have to do that thing that we call compromise. Compromise has been one of our things. She's doing things to make me feel accommodated, and I'm doing things to make her feel accommodated. And after 3 years, I promise you, I still believe that there's so much more to know about this beautiful woman, because the truth is, we're first of all individuals, and then the marriage is there. So we have our likes and dislikes, and in order to have a happy marriage, a happy relationship, we will always have to keep doing the things that make our spouse happy. So as I said earlier, see me and can live with me are two different things. And marriage is such that you have to do a lot of self-introspection. I've had to do a lot of that. And I believe my wife has had to do that. I found that there were some days that I really just needed to be alone. I love waterfront in Kingston, and that would have been my little chill out spot. So if I needed some time to just, chill out, and just get back my head together, that would have been my little thing. So transitions are hard, but it all works.
In the beginning, like first, second day, third day of marriage, it was pure excitement. No, I had to learn new signs, new languages. I'm sure married people would understand what I mean, new signs, new languages. And everything was going fine. She has been cooking for a while. So, she's very good at it, Most of the stuff that we do here, she would have been doing them for a while. So it's like doing the same thing in a different place, You can just, it was pure excitement. No, I had to learn new signs, new languages. I'm sure married people would understand what I mean, new signs, new languages. And everything was going fine. She has been cooking for a while. So, she's very good at it, Most of the stuff that we do here, she would have been doing them for a while. So it's like doing the same thing in a different place, So the transition was not as hard as probably most persons, because I think including this Christmas, the last 3 Christmas I spent at her house with her parents with some strict rules, strict rules. So, the transition was not as hard as some people, as I said before, because I was around her. I saw her, how she behaved, how she reacted, the things that we did together, and we would have had some discussions, what we don't like doing, what we like doing, what we'd rather do, what we wouldn't do, that kind of thing as it relates to chores. So the transition was not that hard. It was kind of smooth. But what had me away, what kills me is the fact that I was born and raised in a household where as long as you do what you are responsible to do, there's no need of accountability to others. So, no. And it started when I was courting her, she would call me and I'm like, hey, where you at? And she's like, no man, where are you? And I'm saying, the half a tree. Well, half a tree is probably 5 minutes drive away from school, Where you are, you a half a tree? You never tell me, say you're the half a tree? That's the kind of thing now. And I'm like, what did I really get myself into? So that was the thing. Now we move into the same house. And I remember last week I took up the key to go and get my phone charger from the car. And I took down the key from the key rack and she said, where you going now? I'm like, we just go downstairs, go take out the charger. So even until now, and I'm working on it, and I must tell you that I'm way better off than when I just started, where I'm now accountable, to her, where I'm not saying, listen, I'm gonna run to buy half a tree, after half a tree, I'm gonna lick a nigga, pick up something, I'm gonna go back downtown, that kind of thing, just to have her keep her sanity for half an hour, that kind of thing. I pray and I tell you, now if she call you 2 times and don't get you, brethren, if she call you 2 times and don't get you, FBI is coming, CSI is coming, SWAT is coming. I tell everybody is coming. She's that protective of her husband, that kind of thing. So the transition was smooth in all the other areas except for that one.
Okay, you're having us You're having us smiling away and laughing away because we know
Pro-
how that can be.
Prophetess, I was just here saying in my mind that you just a come. and, and I guess Brother Wright said the same thing about me.
Let's do that again.
It's only the beginning.
I'm just saying that the fuck
Yeah. Mm-mm. Oh my God. All right. So, what was the greatest challenge for you as a male, as a man? What would you say you had a challenge, any challenge before marriage or during? Is there anything that challenges you? Uh, Go ahead, Dane.
All right, challenge. Yes, I didn't really have any major challenges, right? But one of the only thing that I kind of have issue with, sometimes when you have something to do, you can't wait on your own personal time to do it. But having a partner, right? Babe, you have to do it. No, 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 no. So those are the things, when you're free-minded, you're carefree, you can do what you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it, other than having a person tell you, babe, when you map out the house, put the map around there. So and but those are minor stuff. So I didn't, to be honest, really have any major challenges, to be honest.
Okay, okay. We know how that can be too. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Cedric.
I'm actually here thinking about which challenge to choose because and this is not a bad thing because I believe that challenges are a part of anything that we do. But I've been challenged to become a better man, I guess. I have been challenged to be more patient. So I guess, for the most part, I believe this is something that I perhaps have inherited from my father. I I do things I like to be in a rush. I guess I don't take slow a lot of times. I do things in a rush. I always have something to do, but my wife takes it slow for the most part. Um, so I've had to, you know, be able to deal with that because if I'm not careful, I may seem as though I'm, rushing her to do what needs to be done and, trying to get her to do things on my timing, which is not at all what we want to get ourselves in because that has really resulted in challenges more than me learning patience. Um, so I have been challenged to be more patient as a man. A lot of us, I guess, as men are not so patient. And our ladies, our wives, these gentlemen can agree with me. They need time to do their hair. And my wife is not even one of those very, very, very girly kind of girls who nails have to be on fleek, hair have to be on fleek, pose and hands and everything have to do. She's not that type of woman, but she does take time to do what she needs to do so that it can come out good and she come out looking hot and so. So I've had to be patient. I've had to be patient. Um, Antonia does things on a slower pace. Most things that we do. She does it on a slower pace than I do. I cook. Look here, I'll be in the kitchen for an hour and a half, and I'll get a whole 3-course meal done, whilst Antonia needs perhaps 3 or 4 hours to cook one meal. She's looking at me and laughing now, but it's the truth. And I told somebody recently that, all right, so I guess I have a lot of experience in the kitchen. My parents, both of them are very good chefs. Um, and so I guess I have all the recipes in my head. So I'm just dashing things here, doing that. Me a fryer run, me a oven run, all of these things. And I can manage that kind of thing. I'll be jerking chicken, doing something inside. And I can do all of those things. But my wife, she will go for the nicest recipe and be doing some Parmesan kind of chicken, this, bacon, she always tries to impress me, I guess because she feels that, you know, I'm a big cook and whatever. When she goes all out in the kitchen, it takes her a while to do that. The recipe, she takes time to do her seasoning that she cut up and all of that. But I'll just go in and 1 hour and I'm out. Especially if I season, well, of course, if I season my stuff before. So marriage has really challenged me to be patient and to understand that, you know, perspectives differ. We look at things differently, we do things differently, and we just have to come to a middle ground because trust me, I've cracked them when we go.
Okay, thank you so much, Sedick. Go ahead, Orando.
We finish, and my wife will just sit in front of me and just smile for the whole night. But I can't entertain her tonight on that. I tell you what, I was born and raised in a community square. That's where all the parties and the dance and everything happens. I live in a house where I was in between two houses and they had big speaker boxes and I had mine and we would play and would clash every now and then. That kind of excitement. And I'm saying all that to say I'm fascinated with noise. I call it music. My wife call it noise. And I'm fascinated with noise. No, we only have one car at this point. No, we only have one car at this point. No, I don't know if it's just me or if anyone else share the sentiment. But if you're not hearing bass line, if you're not hearing top end, you're not hearing music overall. My wife thinks that if you're not hearing the birds singing and the thunders rolling, sun coming through the window, it's not a bright morning kind of thing, you know? And that's my wife. We're two different people on the agenda of music and noise. She's completely silent until she's talking to me. And I am very, very loud. We had real issues with that, man. Real issues, you know, with that. Another challenge that we had, you know, I am structured in a way that I know that I'll have classes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday is my day. Well, Thursday would be my day and Friday would be church. And then Saturday I would do counseling and then Sunday church. So I know that from Monday to Wednesday, my space is going to look a particular way because I'm going to be in and out of church, in and out of my house. And if you know my schedule, I am in and out of my house. So I am not the most structured person when it comes to putting away clothes and putting away shoes and putting away stuff, you know. I am the one who's responsible for the car key, where it's kept. And I was the one who made the rule where it's supposed to be all the time. And sometimes I'm asking, babe, you know, I put on the key right here, so. And she'll be like, go and look where it is supposed to be. But you know where it is. So that's our struggle, you know. And she is the most, I don't want to say a perfectionist, but you know those persons that will ensure that the remote is 1 centimeter away from the table and the fork is 1 centimeter away from the plate. That's the type of person that she is. And sometimes I have to ask her, you going mad, man? But you know, that is sort of challenge that.
All right, I'm loving this. I'm loving this, and I'm going to throw this bonus in, and then I'm going to allow you to give your advice to other married men, how they can keep it going. How do you deal with the mood and when your wife is upset and she vexed and I don't know how she vexed if she don't talk or how the mood go or stuff, and how do you allow her to to come back around and to get back into the regular mood and not the vex mood. Go ahead, Dane. What do you do?
Yeah, man. It's all depends, right? Because to be honest, you have cause, effect, and you have the solution to the problem, right? So it's all depends on what pretty much trigger the mood per se, right? But whenever my wife is, pretty much upset, or whenever she reached that peak where in which she start showing some bad vibes, me, Sam. I'm a more jovial person, right? Sometimes she said me take everything for joke, but never when you see a lady upset, you keep quiet and upset also. That's gonna make situation even worse because why? You do not care of what's happening, right? So I always try my best to try to, come around in a little cheeky and jovial way, try to give a little joke, icebreaker every now and then. But at that point in time though, you have to find what is the issue, what causes the mood, and pretty much try to fix that per se.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Cedric, how do you deal with that
Um,
part?
I wholeheartedly agree with or share the side. So I believe that two people can vex one time, um, because that's really a recipe for chaos. Um, however, so boy, my wife will have her moments too. Um, all of us have our moments. So when she's in a mood per se, what I've been trying to do lately is to see if I can, just first of all pray about it, because that some things are really just spiritual assignments, dark assignments, that has the enemy has orchestrated to get our marriages in a very bad place. Sometimes it's just something that we need to talk about. I'll try to be very jovial in such times. In other cases, so prayer. Um, I'll suggest that you know. Well, let me not say that. So we recently had a discussion about this. And one of the things that we came to a conclusion about was that we can just decide to worship whenever we are feeling you know that particular down mood. um and I definitely see my wife doing that, so I think she's working on it for herself. But I always want to know what's up, because it's obvious whenever something is wrong and it doesn't make me feel good. But then sometimes, as Mr. Wright said, it's perhaps not the best thing to even ask. Just try to do something to get her out of the mood. Hug her up, kiss her, give her a random kiss, just do something that she's not expecting, because that perhaps is the best thing at that time. But you have to just know the mood and the seasons. So I don't have the perfect or the right answer for this, because each time is different, and sometimes you are in that upset mode that you need to go seek God before you even try to have a conversation, because it can really not end very well if you decide to approach the situation in the mode that you're going through or experiencing at that time.
Okay, thank you, Cedric.
But I'll tell you. Now, I'll tell you, my wife is the best, man. Yes. And sometimes when she's upset, I don't know. Probably something is wrong with me. Probably it's not that high level kind of upset that I'm making reference to. Most time when she's upset, um, I have a smile on my face. It's a little joy. Like no, she's upset. It's a little joy for me. No, you know. Um, and I'll give her the monkey face, and I'll take out my phone and send her a WhatsApp. You know. Um, you know, and I said, man, tell me something. You don't love me again. When I baby, you know. Those kind of things, you know. Quite sure that, you know, and here what the joy is. The joy is that she's so upset with me. And the very moment I choose not to be upset and to be nice, that's it. And sometimes I'll tell her, I bet never get smile in 2 minutes. And I'll say that in my heart sometimes, and I'll count it down. Of course, you have to smile. I'm your boss, you know, I'm my king, man. So that kind of thing, you know. Yeah. But when she's really, really upset, you know, the upset kind of thing where she starts come like she wants to speak in tongues, you know. Just leave her with that. Just give her some time. She'll come around. You know? And when you know that she's ready for you to talk, you'll know that she will come around and she start grumble. So you know she's waiting on you to respond now. What you say? Yeah, that kind of thing. And I'll just jump into it now and just give my recommendation. As the host has just pointed out. And I'll say to people, you'll see it from myself and the other two panelists, that marriage is one of the most beautiful and awesome things that you'll ever find. And let's not even talk about the sex, man. That is like, oof.
Glory, hallelujah, when the fire came and the Lord sanctified me.
And I'll tell you, when you think about marriage, it is the greatest thing, but it comes with a lot of problems, a lot of heartaches, and a lot of stress. You know, like how my wife is stressed out right now. It comes with a lot of stress. But I'll tell anybody, never get married to someone you're not in love with. Because when all of that pressure come down on you, what separates the problems from the relationship is the love that you guys have for each other. I tell you, I cannot tell you the amount of time that Melisha is upset that she's ready to tell me off, and one sweet smile just change her mind. It's not smiling, it's just love, you know. And so, my recommendation: never get married to someone that you're not in love with.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, Orando, for that. Awesome. Go ahead, Dane. Yes.
Yeah. And also another thing, right? The thing that pretty much always get my wife upset is that, you know, I should, like, example, going to work, right? And she know that I should leave work like 5 o'clock, right? And I just send her a WhatsApp message and say, hey babe, I have to stay in office for like 2 more hours. I know that when I go home, she's gonna kill me, right? So pretty much what I do, my wife, she love KFC and she love Burger King. So when I leave like that 2 hour late, you know, I just ensure that I go pick up a KFC, you know, without her knowledge. So I go down and she, you know.
Yes.
I need to get something for you. So everything just throw under the bus and we're good again. So we gotta find what our wife love and all of them.
Oh yes, oh yes. What is your tip that you're leaving with other married men to make their marriages work?
All right. First, marriage it's an honorable thing in the sight of the Lord, right? And once it is an honorable thing, you know that it's the best, right? And it's sanctioned by the Almighty God. All right. So some tips, right? That I'm gonna leave tonight is that first, married for the right reason. Don't marry because of sex. Don't marry because the other person have money or the other person already have life or may achieve something already. Do not marry for those reasons. Married for love, genuine love, right? And also, you know, you're not gonna know a person 100%. You know, I'm married for over 7 years and I haven't known my wife 100%. But once you love someone and once you're willing to work and learn about each other, right? So the main thing though, the main takeaway though, ensure that God is first in everything that you guys are doing, right? Always pray together, always work together, always don't hold secret from your significant other, right? So in the event if you're gonna do something, always let your spouse know about it or would know what you're gonna do, right? So yeah, definitely as I mentioned before, the main thing, married for the right reason. All right.
Thank you so much for that, Dane. Go ahead now, Cedric, and share with us your tips.
Yes, I just want to agree with both Mr. Williams and Mr. Wright. Um, so also I want to add to that that before one enters into marriage, before gentleman and lady, this goes to lady and gentleman. Um, ensure that you talk about the serious things. I find that a lot of people enter into marriage and they, things are swept under the carpet, some really big things. Um, discuss those things. Don't enter marriage with secrets, right? That's not healthy for the marriage. Um, enter marriage understanding that vows are eternal. Uh, divorce has become a widely accepted thing in our society today. And I'm not gonna dispute the whole whether or not divorce is right. We're not talking about that now. But I don't want to believe that persons enter into marriage to get divorced. First of all, wedding expensive. The 1 day is expensive. The marriage itself is expensive too. And I don't understand how people feel comfortable, entering into marriage. Or I guess probably that's not it. I guess it's just that, when problems come, people are just very, you know, very quick to run to say, find the divorce lawyer. I think, we should have that thing in our mind that says we're really doing this with our vows in mind. I know that some relationships can get toxic, some marriages can get toxic, and it might be the best thing to end it. But it shouldn't be that you enter marriage with the preconceived notion that whenever I'm ready to pack my bags, I'm gonna pack my bags. You're doing it together to bring honor to God, and you're doing it because you love your spouse. So just remember that at all times. Another thing I want to remind mostly the gentlemen in this case of is that she's your wife, not your mother. Um, she's your wife, not your mother. I find that a lot of husbands, a lot of men in marriages see their wives. I guess it's not that they see them as, mother figure or what, but they expect that the wife will clean up after them and do all of those things and wash, cook, and clean. When you look the wife, all of her goals and all her dreams and aspirations are just brushed over to the side, and then you find that she just become a big mama lashy in her house. That can't work. That not keep a 2021 now. So we have to get ourselves together. We really have to get ourselves together, gentlemen. Because what I find is that so often at times these women, they become so backward, so backward. In the olden days when country
Yeah.
woman, they just stay home and take care of the children. Also, there's something that work again. So you have to balance. Wife want to exploit, she want travel, she might have her goals to travel. Love each other, explore each other. So I'm the more adventurous one of the two of us, of my wife and myself. I love going new places. I love trying new food. So as much as I try to meet that personal goal, we have been to, last year went to what? Went to a number of countries. We did a cruise together, and you know, that's something I want to do with her because I enjoy it. But then there are things that she enjoys too, and I'm trying to facilitate that. She wants to continue to study, want to facilitate that. We have to make sure that it happens. And I also find that I guess it's becoming, men are doing a little better now. I guess people are seeing men at the forefront taking care of children and stuff. So I guess the single parent home is less dominant, or not, we're not hearing as much about it as we usually hear back then, because you have a lot of men who are stepping up to the plate, stepping up to the fore. Big up those men. But I want to encourage men too, that when they get into marriages and get to the stage of childbearing, I don't have any children yet, but I intend to be a good father. Play that role, get to the place where you're playing an active role in your child's life. It's too often you find that only mommy knows the name, or the wife knows the name of the teachers of the child, or mommy alone going to PTA meeting. Yeah, I know daddy works, but he needs to be as involved as mom too.
Balance it.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that I think about daily, and I reassess myself when it comes to our marriage, because I don't want it to be a case where this marriage is all about me. It's almost like the wedding day, which everybody says, "Oh, what a beautiful bride." Nobody remember about the husband. And I mean, I'm not expecting you to say what a beautiful groom. But it's a beautiful couple at the end of the day. So usually there are some things that people say, this is a woman thing, and then this is a man thing, which is why you end up with, man not entirely, women doing all of the housework, men just taking care of the car, or whatever the case is. But I mean, share the load, and I guess everybody knows what they can do best. I don't like clean fridge. I can't tell you that. I hate cleaning refrigerators. And so if I leave it up to myself, and just, I guess, chance or who see it for clean first, I would never clean it, because I'm not gonna see it first, because I don't like clean fridge. So I think I probably am not even doing such a great job with that now, because I'll see it and just leave it still. So in cases like those, I think, being structured and planned and having certain conversations is important. I think a lot of times we men are closed off. We don't have certain discussions. We leave certain things unspoken. It's very important that we communicate. Yes, we're men, and sometimes we just want the wife to be happy, but your happiness is important too. It's not just a marriage for the wife. It's a marriage for both of you. So if both of you are happy, then it makes everybody happy. That's better. All right. So and I strongly recommend that men in marriage, find a mentor, somebody who is older than you, somebody who has gone through. So I've heard really good ideas from Mr. Wright, as well as even Mr. Williams. So there are things that you always will be able to use that have worked for other people. Listen to best practices, listen to date ideas, date your wife regularly. So Antonia and I, we have date nights every Friday, regardless of what we have planned. And we're busy. Trust me, we have demanding jobs, but we make it work. Even if it's to stay in and do something, we make it work. So these are my few words in Jesus' name.
We just laugh and you see Cedric give it. That's the voice that you hear in your introduction. Okay? So we
come on, bless
so we let out the secret. That's the voice. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here with us this evening. I am so grateful to have you here and to share with us. I know the listeners are going to be smiling and they're going to be encouraged. And as we leave this evening, it is said, a good marriage isn't something you find. It's something you make. And you have to keep making it profound. And we leave on that note. Thank you very much again, gentlemen. Thank you, viewers and subscribers. Remember to hit that subscribe button and remember to share with your friends, your family, your coworker, everyone you know. Thank you for watching and have yourself a blessed evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the opportunity to share as well, Prophetess. Really appreciated it.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it.